Hello. Going to be as quick as I can, not only because I'm not very good at charging the camera up on time, but because I want this to be a video people can look at and hopefully exercise along with without me wasting any time. I started this channel focusing on exercise at home with no equipment to make it as easy as possible so anybody can do it. I'm going to do a 4 or 5 part series with a whole body exercise session right here in the kitchen. I've got cheap mats on the kitchen floor. You can buy them, I think you get a pack of 4 for about £5 or £6, something like that. It's a good idea to do that, then you can exercise in the kitchen, or you could even do it in the bathroom if you wanted to, and it protects the original floor. Don't need to do that, it just helps save wear on the floor. Enough of that. This is going to be really simple. I want to encourage people to exercise at home when it's easy and free. Try this. If you don't exercise, if you're an athlete, if you're any kind of a combat sport trainee, then this probably won't have anything for you. Even then, on a day when you can't go to train where you want to, do this at home. It will keep you moving. There's nothing in here you won't find in a warm-up routine, in any kind of combat sport, or as part of a lot of other things you're training, whether they want to call it Zumba, boxercise, whatever. But this is for people who don't go anywhere, who don't necessarily have the inspiration to exercise on their own at home. If that's somebody like you, why not try this right now? It's a 15, this is the first part, this is what I call a 15-step warm-up. It's really stretching and a bit of warming up. I call it 15-step, but it goes up and down a bit depending on how many I squeeze in as it goes on. The beginning tends to be fairly uniform. Do it as quickly as possible. A long one will be about 15 minutes. If I'm going outside and I really want to get to the bag, then I might just do it in 5 or 6 minutes. Or if I'm going to weight train. Right, enough of that. Just like when I began in the bathroom with a short exercise routine I showed before, start with the knees, keep the toes on the floor, and do this from 30 seconds to a minute, depending on how your knees feel. 30 seconds is enough. Apart from my back problems due to some injuries, the knees are the greatest problem I have, and I think the same is true for a lot of people once they're past their 30s. So you always want to get those moving a little bit and get a little bit of warmth in the soft tissue. And now we're just standing up on the tiptoes. Don't need to do too many of these, 10's enough. And we're just coming up to 45 seconds. And now rotating the shoulders. I don't actually consider this, I don't count this as a part of the exercise. This is a sort of a pre-warm-up. Call these 3 things we've just done stage 1. And now for stage 2, want to stretch the neck. If you find it's a bit difficult to stretch it very far to one side than the other, you can look at a certain point, focus your eyes on it and move your body instead. Although what you're doing is physically the same, I find it's easier to keep it very stable when you do this and make sure that you're just moving from side to side and there's no up and down movement. I think it's good to keep it stable like that for training yourself to keep the muscles firm and not just roll it around. And I think for most people, this isn't a very good idea later in life. It can be a bit sore for me. Right, so we've done that, either turning side to side or by moving the body and fixing the head. Now we'll just go forward a little bit. This is still stage 2. And then I just like to take the neck to one side. Often I do this beforehand. A bit of loosening up for the shoulders. And this is where you already see it gets a bit messy because we're on step 2, but there's been quite a few movements involved. Now you go down and then you bring the head to the shoulder opposite a few times, and then down and bring the head to the shoulder again. It's not an extreme stretch, but it's keeping the neck moving over a period of time. It helps to build a little bit of strength as well. Right then, number 3 is bracing the shoulders, pushing the hands out. You should have a very straight back, and you push your behind out a little bit. And there's number 3, and we're nearly 3 minutes in. Okay, number 4, don't think you see my feet all that well, but you need to be able to see my hands as well. Number 4, you step forward, mind the microphone cable, and you bring your arms back. If you're in a hurry to get outside and do something else, then you might just do 3 each side. If you didn't want to do anything else on a given day, you could do all of these 20 times, and then you've got a soft whole body exercise routine without doing anything else on top of it. Let's hope I don't forget too many of these. Number 5, join your palms at the back and then to the front with one on top, the other beneath, and then you switch it around. And you don't want to fling too hard because you could damage some tissue and your bones, but you take them back quite nicely and then fling them forward, and that's number 5. Number 6, hand and shoulder, step forward with the same side that you're raising the shoulder on, and you go right up. You're not just taking the arm up like that, you want to go like that and raise the shoulder. And you're stretching the body, you're stretching the leg. I apologise for perspiration. It's quite warm and there's not much you can do about it. Okay, number 6. Number 7, first time you really get the knees involved and you go to one side, you move the leg out on the same side that you're raising the shoulder up, but they're going in opposite directions. So here's number 7. I don't know what any of these are called, and I think if you ask 3 different people, you get 3 different answers. Who cares? Just get the body moving. Other side. Number 7, just coming up to 5 minutes. And this is just enough to get me out of breath a little bit. Of course, that's because I'm talking at the same time. Now, we'll step forward and you step backwards with one leg, and I hope you can see this. You're putting your toe down first and you're pushing until the heel contacts the ground, and that's giving you a bit of a stretch on the hamstring, more of a stretch on the calf. And same on the other side. There's nothing extreme here. Nothing will teach you how to do the splits. Nothing will enable you to contort your body. This is all basic stuff. And I do this. I might do it 10 times some weeks because I sometimes exercise a little bit before lunch. Then I'll weight train or spend more time outside later on. If I have a before lunch session, I do this for 8 minutes, then just go and hit the bag and the ball for 5 minutes. Just keeps you moving. But I do this really often. Okay, now number 9 is just touch the ceiling, touch the floor, and up. I'm lucky enough, the ceiling's quite low here so I can touch it, and then touch the floor. If you can, you put the thumbs on the floor. I can just about do that. Can't put my palms on the floor. I think somebody who's as old as me could only do that if they've been working hard all their life. That's it. I found that if you just stand there, just want to go like that, it's not very good. All the way up, all the way down. Then you can also add to this movement, number 9, just by positioning yourself down. Touch 1, touch 2, touch 3, touch 4, touch 5, touch 6. Okay, I'll start to forget where we are. Number 10, next one. You raise one leg up, quite good for balance this. Rotate the foot. I just tend to go 3 times each way. It's not a lot. If you had ankle trouble, you want to do it more. Then straighten up, lift the knee up, straighten up, lift the knee up, and come behind you, go in front, come behind, out a little bit, but not too much, because people who do that a lot with their hips will be very good at kicking high, but they might have a bit of trouble later on in life. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, up, behind, out a bit, in front, Bit of balance trouble there behind, and that's done. Number 10. On a day when I'm squatting or the day afterwards, I also get a stool out and just add to it, and then you can get a nice stretch in. You stretch the legs for squatting by squatting a lot of the time. Day after squatting, I don't want to do that, so I do this. It gives a good stretch without too much strain on the muscle. Right, we're onto 11. Now then, legs apart, try to get it quite far forward, and you want to take your knee till it's right above your ankle. I go a bit further now. Of course, there's discussion everywhere about your knees going over your toes or not. I've been doing this to the ankle for a couple of years. And it's just this year I'm going a bit further, and I'm noticing I can go a bit further, and it's a benefit to me, it's not hurting. So you've got to be careful in choosing when to do that if you're going to. Right then, and this is still number 11, coming up for 9 minutes. Get warm and then you go a bit further. And still number 11. I'll never be able to do the splits, I'm sure of it. I can't kick much above waist height. I could work a bit harder. I think I'd make some progress. Don't think I'd ever do the splits. I like to do this and then have a drink. Hold it for a moment, then come in a bit, and then you go out and do it again. If you really want to improve your ability to spread your legs, then you pull them in, you hold it while you're breathing, then you relax, and then you go a little bit further. I've done that, obviously not enough, otherwise I'd be able to kick a lot higher than I can. And this isn't an intense stretching exercise, this is a whole body warm up. That's in number 11, there were 2 steps to it, call it number 11 anyway. And we're very close to the end now. Here's number 12, and it's just a plank up high on the working surface. You can do it on the floor too, but this isn't supposed to be too difficult. Spread them a bit wider, then you touch your shoulder, do that a couple of times. Then you touch your knee, and then your ankle. Same on the other side. Now, I said it's roughly 15 steps. We're going to stop at 12. This is the last one. But you see, I've got more than one exercise in some stages. So I'm not going to change the name. I think of this as my 15-step warm-up. It's not really 15 steps. I think that's going to do. 10 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm sweating. That's because it's a hot day, not because it's that difficult. Still, if it's a hot day, it's enough to get you sweating and get some toxins out of the system. Next will be a stage where we take it down to the floor. So there's some exercises using body weight, 5 to 6. Then there'll be 5 to 6 exercises specifically for the back. I do those most days when I squat and deadlift. And I also do them some other days because I've got some back trouble. After that, there'll be very simple exercise that just gets you out of breath. It's essentially interval training. Just do a bit of that now, in case you've done that and you want to carry on. Then you just run on the spot and you punch them forward, just like I did up in the bathroom with an early video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then the same with a hook. Not proper hooks, not proper punches. Same with an uppercut. And then you go up. Now, doing 10s, no problem. Doing 20s, you might find your ankles ache a bit. If you do 30, unless you're quite fit, your ankles will be aching. And that's when stop and you just do 10 like that without moving your ankles, give them a break. 10 like that again, 10 like that. And then you can't do this when you're running. You also do that, pulling the bucket up out of the well. And then you go back and start again. You can also intersperse with star jumps at any point at all. So you can do 10 star jumps. And then when you need a rest for your ankles again, you can just raise your knees. You can do some kicks if you want. These are exaggerated kicks with a real push on them for the body movements and exercise. Nothing very realistic about them. That's it. I think if you were to do that, and then you were to do the other 3 stages, might be another 4 to come. I don't know, this will be 4 or 5 parts. You've got a pretty good fitness program. It's not going to make you an athlete. It's not going to make you a brilliant fighter, but it will keep you fit. That's it, except for one addition I'll add after this. So, thanks for watching. Hope that's useful. See you again next time. And cheers. And now, I don't want to talk about making videos too much at the start. I tried not to even when I began making them, and I still overdid it. People want you to get on with it, especially if they might be following along with you. So I'll add a few things at the end. Thank you to everybody who subscribed. I don't have many when you look at people who have thousands, hundreds of thousands, but I'm really happy about it. Makes me think it's worth doing, makes me think there's people out there who also want to exercise, who might be interested in exercising at home. People who make comments, thank you very much, I really appreciate it. People who like it, it's very nice. Of course, it's all down to exposure. I'm sure there's not millions out there who want to follow me, but I'm sure there's a few hundred at least. It's just getting the exposure, and as you get more subscribers, you'll get more exposure. So it's a bit of a dichotomy in a way. One thing I'm going to comment about, I really am not sensitive or vain, but I do care about accuracy. I care about something being said that just doesn't make a lot of sense. And I've been told I'm a couch potato, and I'm obviously out of shape. I'm not an athlete. I do exercise 8 to 10 hours a week, with very few exceptions. There are people my age who are much fitter than me, but not that many people. Anyway, I'm not a bodybuilder, I'm working at powerlifting. I'm getting better at it, but slowly. I'm not going to break any records. Some people have said that I look as if I don't exercise at all. I have worked at lifting enough to know that that the camera loses some weight, and I can look in the mirror and sometimes think, oh, that's good, I'm getting bigger, nice progress. And up to this point, whenever I've taken a picture or filmed myself, I thought, no, it looks crap. So I haven't shown it to anybody. But here's the exception, and anybody can be the judge on whether or not I look like a couch potato. Leave it with you. I'd like to be bigger. I'm not going to break any records, not going to win any contests for lifting or for physical condition. Don't think I look like a couch potato. I've got a fair gut here. That's held in. Unrealistic, I can do that for long. That's completely relaxed. Yep, it comes out under the t-shirt. That's tense. Not a lot of movement there. And I hope this doesn't seem vain. If people look at me right here and they say, that man's really out of shape, look at him, he's unfit, that's fair enough. I do wonder if they'll reach the age of 50, very close to it, and be in better shape. Maybe they will, good luck to them, and maybe they can give me some tips. One thing I will say is I'm not training to be a dancer in a boy band. I'm training to be a powerlifter and training in combat sports. I'm too old to do either of those in competition. Having a six-pack and a terribly thin gut is not one of my goals. That's it then. For a second time, thanks for watching. See you next time. This series should come pretty quickly because I do these all the time. I just had to decide to film it and talk rather than do it on my own. So if you are interested in exercising at home with a bit of inspiration like this, there's more coming. Thanks a lot. Cheers.